So hi Velocitians, today we are going to check out is AI going to replace architecture or architects? So basically we do have the sheet in here. So if you can see, will AI replace architects? The internet says yes, but architects and the people who are actually into the field, they are restricting that it is not going to. And as per Velocity and as per our team, it is not going to replace any sort of architect. So let's take an example by this way. If you have listened about Claude or GPT, people did realize that once the Claude is going to get released into the market, then maybe code and engineers and people who are actually into the development may get reduced. But the scenario is a bit different. Claude is something which is actually being used by engineers, by developers, and the people who are actually doing code. So the in short statement is people who are actually using AI, those many people are going to replace with the people who are not using those many stuff. So you need to be pretty aware about what exactly the tool is, how many tools are going to be get launched, how you can actually integrate AI into your current workflows. So AI is already generating buildings, AI is already creating renders. So if you have not checked out Velocity, then you can see that it is actually providing you all sort of renders within the instant time. AI is suggesting floor plans. We are going to launch the floor plans and 2D planning also as soon as possible. AI already automated the task. So basically, once you enter into the Velocity, you can see that we do have a lot of cities. Basically, you can get your interior, you can get your exterior, left, right, and a lot of stuff. Along with it, City Map is also launched, so you can actually plug and play with the stuff. Studio is also getting launched, so you can try out with your own library. So that is how actually AI is trying to change the market in architecture field. But that does not mean that AI is replacing any sort of architects. Inspiration and the motivation is something which we are actually getting from the AI, but at the end we do have to integrate. We do have to sit and we do have to put our thought and mind into the stuff what exactly we are building in architecture. So let's move ahead. Architecture is not about drawing. Architecture is not about drawing buildings, which we are already aware about. It do requires culture, it do requires human behavior, it do requires climate response, it do require material understanding. Material understanding is something which is very important. We are actually integrating material swatches in the Velocity itself, so you can just hit and trial in the system itself. Engineering constraint is very important. AI may provide you sort of renders which is actually not possible, like which is not possible to build right now due to some technology or due to constructional limitation and other stuff. Client psychology is the point which is something AI can't introduce or AI can't understand, because you are from the field. As an architect, I can only understand like what actually client do requires. Budget decision is something very important. AI doesn't have any sort of constraints like what exactly the budget should be, how the restriction should be done, because the market study and the market details are not there in the data of the AI systems. Urban impact is very important. So AI is building a solution, not just a shape. So basically you need to use AI, you need to put your thought, you need to put your mind into AI, and it will provide you all sort of renders, all sort of workflows, and all sort of details whatever you are required for. So basically, if I'm going to state in a very single statement, then if you are doing the labor job of doing the rendering, adding materials, getting swatches, and all those many stuff, that is something AI will do. But what needs to be done is something that you need to be pretty aware about. Moving ahead, AI is extremely good at certain things which we are already aware about. Generate thousands of design variations. Maybe for a client, if client is asking you some variations, as a human being, I can actually provide you maybe 2 or 3 renders, or maybe 2 or 3 floor plans, or something else as a service point of view. But AI can provide you multiple variations. So basically, if I'm going to take as a workflow example, you can generate multiple variations as a preliminary data and can send it to client, and client can actually provide you the data like which variation he or she is liking upon, and accordingly you can actually build the stuff. You can actually get down into the stuff instead of getting a lot of replicated stuff, and instead of getting into that iterations, we can provide that sort of variations as a preliminary data, and the variation which actually client liked upon, we can work over into that statement. So that is where these thousands of generations will help us produce high quality renders. For sure, when generation is being happening through Lumion or through Enscape or through V-Ray, the system actually renders the system. You may have the dependency with the system. That system should have at least 32 GB of RAM, maybe 16 GB of graphic cards and stuff like that. But when it comes to AI, it is 100% working on the compute system. It is computational, so you don't have to worry about how the computation is going to work upon. Similarly, you can see in Velocity 2, you just have to upload the image of the wireframe or of the SketchUp, and it will provide you the 100% rendered output within fraction of time. So that is how the compute system and the dependency within the system is not going to work upon. So Analyzing environmental data is something very important when we talk about landscape, where it is coming from. Maybe it is from Karnataka, maybe it is from Rajasthan. So that sort of environment, we do have to maintain the lighting and the landscape, the environment, the atmosphere, and everything we need to make sure. That is something AI is already aware about, so we don't have to worry about that specific part. Optimize layout. So when we already do have something and I just want to play and plug and play with some sort of thing, then optimizing layout is something which we can play with the AI. And automative repetitive task design, so that is something which we are actually doing. We do create interior, exterior, and some sort of something like that using AI, and we just plug and play. Like we change the sofa, maybe the color of exterior, maybe the material, and something like that. So that is where AI is extremely good at these many stuff. When it comes to architecture, the human side of architecture which can't be replaced is empathy. You need to sit with client, you need to understand what he or she is actually telling you. You need to understand what the circumstances of the situation is, how it needs to be built, what exactly is the material which we have to take care of in the budget constraints. Cultural understanding is very much important when it comes to the location based, because if it is a slope roof or it is a normal roof, then we have to pretty sure about how the cultural understanding we have to maintain in the structure. Negotiation with client is something which AI can't do. For sure AI can do, but that is something which is yet to be done. That is not actually something which is already live into the market, and that is something using, people are doing it through chatbots and stuff. But at the last, when the emotional touch and the trust we need to build, you need to sit with the client and negotiation needs to be done. Ethical decision is something which as a human being which we only do have, and that is something we have to do. Contextual thinking and storytelling through spaces, we have to make sure that this is the storytelling, this is the interior that we have built, and this is what it actually conveys or convince. So that is something from a human side we have to figure out that how we are going to make sure. So in short, if your mind is working, if your thought is working, and if you are thinking about the design, and if you know what exactly needs to be built, then AI can build it for you. But at least you need to be pretty aware about what needs to be built. So what all the tasks are going to be there, which is going to be get replaced by the AI of these architects? It is first the basic rendering, which is something Velocity is already doing, so you can try it out. Drafting is something which is already AI is doing, yet to be done because a lot of data needs to be trained into the stuff. Repetitive modeling needs to be done, so that is something human can't do but AI can do while you are also sleeping. So that is a very huge major impact which is going to be into the market of this architecture, that repetitive modeling and the reiterations can be done through AI. Visualization and the production for sure can be done, because the thing which we already know after these many years, that is something AI may know after these many data. So that data is much huge than what we exactly know. So that visualization will be something which is out of the space, and we can actually rely on that specific stuff. Design iteration testing is something which is very important. If client is asking you a basic level of change, then instead of actually rendering the whole stuff, we can do just the basic change using the iteration testing using AI itself. So that is also available in City Studio and City Map of the Velocity itself, so you can also try it out how that iteration can be done. AI tools are already emerging, so you can actually create facade architectural renderings. We already do have the front rendering, we already do have the left, right, and rear rendering. So you can just try it out. You just need to focus on how the model should look like. Once the model is actually live, then you can actually pick out the front image or the left image and the right image. You can just upload the images, and it will just transfer the whole materials and stuff and exact render how that it needs to be done in the Lumion or Enscape or something like that. It is going to get done in the same stuff in the Velocity itself. So that is something which AI is already doing, and we have built that RAG model and that specific model to make sure that these sort of rendering do not lose any sort of quality, and hallucination should not happen. So material is something which is very important. Material, you can actually check it out in the studio itself, and environment is something which is already being done in the system, so you can try it out with multiple environments. In the night view itself, we do have multiple time zones, so you can try it out. Either it can be done in evening or either it can be done in night zone, so that you can select upon. So architects will become design directors. So for an example, if you are coming from the AI background, then you know that in the video, a huge level of disruption is already done by these video generation models like Kling, Veo, or maybe something else. And similar to that, architecture is going to be there, where we as human beings, we should know about how the creative direction should be done. So design director is going to be the next position in the architecture, where it is going to be like on a disruption basis, people are going to hire for design directors. They should know that what needs to be placed at where. what needs to be placed at where, how it can be done, what is the name of the material, so that it can be provided to the system and AI will know about the system and it will render you the stuff whatever it is required for. So basically, as a design director, you should know and you should be already aware in the mind that how the render should look like. Rest AI is going to do that. Already Velocity is doing that. So if you are also coming from the design director or from the architecture background, and if you want to learn how the design director stuff can be done and how you can use AI into the rendering stuff, then for sure we are going to launch this course as soon as possible. You can enroll into the stuff. Pre-launch is already registered, so you can register into the courses, and it is something which we are already providing to the students. Users can get enterprise level plans, studio access, assets, certification, and video courses of how you can be a design director in the future upcoming. So that is something which we are already launching, so you can register yourself, you can provide us your data. AI is going to guide you how the stuff needs to be done. That guiding stuff, if you are stuck upon on a thought, then you can actually check upon like, this is where I am stuck, and they can provide you the help. Like either it can be GPT, Gemini, or even if it is going to be on Velocity, you can provide that specific stuff. Solve complex spatial problems, and there is a lot of stuff which future architects will be actually checking upon, and design director should be aware about that. These are the skills for a design director they should be aware about, and they should be having that skill. So similar to how WordPress is a skill like for the website development, Webflow is a skill for website development, and maybe something else like Claude is for code, and similar to that, Velocity is going to be for you as a tool, as a skill, that I know Velocity, I know how the imagination should be done, I know how to visualization should be done, and I can get the render through the portal itself, through the Velocity itself. Moving ahead, AI will not replace architects, but architects who ignore AI, those are going to be get vanished from the market itself. So if you are going to be get rigid for this, then for sure by today or tomorrow you are going to be get resolved. So before that, try using AI tools, and this is not something which is going to be on the demerit, but anyhow you are learning. So visualization can be something which you can actually learn through AI, and it can actually provide you some sort of guidance and other stuff. Those who adapt are going to lead the future. So that is the simple statement which we can actually take care from this specific slide itself. AI will change architecture, human imagination is going to be, that is something which we were restricted about, but now due to this AI we are not getting restricted due to this imagination. Human empathy and human judgment for sure is going to be there, because as a human being nobody can replace our empathy and our judgment and our decision from the client's point of view. So AI is something which can do the labor job for you, but the thinking, the thought, and other stuff needs to be done from your end. So this is what the first part of the Velocity video is going to be. So basically this is something which we need to be pretty sure about, that how AI is going to replace us. It is not going to replace us, but it is going to take some sort of task which we were already doing, and now it is going to be done through AI. So we need to be pretty prepared about what next we have to do as a skills perspective, and that is where the design director thing comes into the picture. So this is it, Velocitians. Take care. Bye bye.